Welcome to another edition of this week's Parashat portion. This week's Parashat is Parashat Behar, which the beginning of the Parashat deals with many of the Shemitah laws, the sabbatical year. A basic synopsis of this concept is from the start of when Bnei Israel went from the desert into Eretz Israel, the clock started ticking that every 6 years that they work, 7th year, there is no planting, no plowing of the field. Take a year off. Work for 6 years, take a year off. Work for 6 years, take a year off. And this cycle is continuing until this very day. Now, on the 7th year, how in the world are they supposed to make a living? If a person would walk into their boss's office and they say, listen, I've been here for 6 years, I've been a good worker, now it's the 7th year, it's time for me to take a year off. I'll be back next year. The boss would look at them, what are you, crazy? They would never let that go, right? And nobody would ever walk into their boss's office saying such a thing, because how would they plan on making a living for that whole entire year? But when it comes to the Shemitah, it's different. Hashem commands us not to work, and He also assures us that don't worry about it. I'm going to give you a beracha. I'm going to give you a beracha that whatever the 6th year produces, it's going to satiate you for much longer than average. It's going to get you through all those hard times of the 7th year. Don't worry about it. It's on me. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to give you beracha through the 6th year. It's going to last very long. For example, I have a 15-year-old car, or even more than that, and sometimes I'm a very frequent flyer to the mechanic. It costs me a lot of money. But sometimes I could go for a very long time without seeing the mechanic, just for a basic oil change or something, right? So sometimes our beracha in our money has special beracha in it that it lasts us much longer, and we don't have all these side expenses coming up, eating away at our funds. So that's the type of beracha that Hashem promises for the people that keep the Shemitah. Now, the question that I saw by Rav Moshe Feinstein is a very interesting question. It says like this in the pasuk, and I quote the pasuk: "Shesh shanim tizra sadecha." For 6 years you shall plant your field. V'shesh shanim tizmod karmecha, and you can prune your vineyard. Ve'asavta et tebuata, and you gather all your grain. Ubashana hashebi'it Shabbat Shabbaton hiyeh la'aretz. And on the 7th year, take a break. It's Shabbat. Shabbat laHashem sadecha lo tizra v'charmecha lo tizmor. Don't plant, don't plow, don't prune, don't touch. Now, why does the Torah need to tell me this whole introduction of you gotta work and you gotta plant all these 6 years, you gotta? What is this? Who doesn't know that they have to work for these 6 years? Did they think that, they're just gonna have parnasah without working? Isn't it obvious that everybody needs to and wants to work for their whole 6 years? The chidush is that you don't have to work on the 7th year. So what is the Torah meaning to tell me? What kind of lesson can I pull from these words that the Torah is commanding us to work for 6 years? I need a commandment to tell me to keep kosher, to go and learn, and to do all different types of hard commandments. But something that is so obvious and so simple that you need to work because that's the way you get your living and you make an income, what do I need the Torah to come and say a whole long pasuk that you gotta work? So the answer is as follows. Moshe Feinstein says that shesh shanim tizra karmecha, this pasuk is coming to tell you that for 6 years you gotta work. Don't rely on any miracles. You're not allowed to just sit back and relax and rely on miracles and that the parnasah is just gonna come and you're just gonna have money. No. You gotta work, and you gotta work hard, and you gotta be focused in your work and put your all into it. And don't rely on a miracle, because that's not the way it works. But there is a time where you do rely on a miracle. You must rely on a miracle. That's the Shemitah. The Shemitah you must say, okay, I'm taking a break. Hashem told me I can't work, and therefore it's on Him. He has to take care of me and give me that parnasah and fill in that blank of a whole year of not working. That's Hashem's job, to fill in those blanks of wherever my parnasah, I don't know how it's going to come, don't worry about it, it's on me. We can apply this to our everyday lives as follows. We work very, very hard days. We work long hours. It used to be 5 o'clock was the average end of a person's workday. Now it seems to be that the average is 7 o'clock, right? We're working very, very hard and long hours. And it's a good thing to work. However, we have to make the calculation. Is our work interfering with the commandments of Hashem? Is our work interfering with giving our wives the proper warmth and love, giving our children the proper attention? Is our work interfering with setting aside time every single night without being tired and not focused and not have our head there? Is our work interfering all those commandments that Hashem gave us? If so, then it's time for us to take a Shemitah. Then it's time for every one of us that have these issues, which is very common. Many of us are guilty of, when we come home, our head is not even there. We sit down to dinner and we take a call, we're thinking about business, and we're not giving the proper attention to our loved ones. And therefore, it's time for us to take a Shemitah. Now, I'm not saying to take a year off of work. That would be crazy. What I'm saying is that the Shemitah of our day is to take a few minutes off of your day and give a call to your wife, see how her day is going. To take an hour or two and say, I'm going to come home a little bit early tonight to spend some time with my kid. I'm going to come home a little bit early tonight because I'm feeling a little tired and I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to get to my Torah class. And that is the Shemitah that not only is a good thing to do, it's an obligation. Just like it's an obligation for the field owner to stop working on the 7th year, it's an obligation for us to stop working if it's going to interfere with our Avodat Hashem. Now, how are we going to make the money? How are we going to go to our boss, let's say, and say, you know what, I got to leave early? Or we know that our finances are not so great and we want to put in more hours so that we can make more money. How are we supposed to say, you know what, I'm just not going to work so long today, even though I'm struggling financially? How can we do such a thing? The answer is that just like by Shemitah, Hashem gives a beracha to those who keep His commandment. He says, you can rely on a miracle. If I gave you the commandment to rely on me, then you can rely on me and you must rely on me. And it's an isur to work. So too, we can go to Hashem and say, listen, Hashem, I'm working hard. I'm trying to put food on the table. I'm trying to cover expenses. But it's interfering with my service to you. It's interfering with my learning Torah. It's interfering with my mitzvot, with my family life. Hashem, it's on you. Please, fill in those blanks. If I have to take a day off once in a while, if I have to come home early to perform the mitzvot properly, then you have to come through for me. Just like you did by the Shemitah. Every single Shemitah, you give the field owners their beracha, so to me, I need the beracha. Whether it be that my money lasts longer and it's preserved, or that you just give me more, you give me a raise. I need that in order to perform my mitzvot properly and take care of my family properly. And with this, we can walk into Hashem and tell Him that this is what we need, and He's going to answer us. He's going to say, you got it. If you trust in me and you want to do it for the right reason, that you want to take off of work, not to just go be a bum and do nothing. You want to take off of work in order to perform the mitzvot properly, it's on me. This is the way that we have to approach our workday and prioritize and say, listen, I know I got to work, but I know the main priority is the Torah and mitzvot. And we don't ever want to have those cross paths and interfere. We have to have the right balance. And that's what the Pasuk is telling me. Work, shesh shanim, work hard. But don't let it interfere with the commandment of Hashem. When Hashem says to take a rest, you take a rest and don't worry about the parnasah. It's going to come. He promised us. Shabbat Shalom.